Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 entitled What Makes Our Industrial Network Different? So, thank you for joining me here on the Industrial Tech Talk series. Looking forward to continuing to dive into these industrial IoT foundational elements, and then we'll get more specific as we go. But today, I want you to think about something. Your office switch was not built for heat, dust, vibration, and downtime. So, keep that in the back of your mind. So, let's take a switch from your office wiring closet, for example. Now let's take that same switch and let's put it inside a roadside cabinet in Texas in July, or inside a substation enclosure, or next to a some heavy machinery where vibration really never stops. It's a continuous jar on the machine. That's when we realize that something is fundamentally different and important about this environment. Industrial network is not just taking your enterprise networking environment and putting it in a rougher location. Enterprise networks are built for users. Industrial networks are built for operations, and they're different by design because the job that they do is totally different. This means that the environment is also different. The devices are different, and also really important, the life cycle is extremely different. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So the other thing that's very different about the two environments is the consequences are different. In an office, network goes down, it's frustrating. You have loss of productivity, those type of things. But in an industrial operation, a network goes down, it can interrupt the physical process and affect revenue directly. So, for example, a line may slow down, a remote site may drop out of view, so you can't monitor and see what's going on. A substation loses communication, possibly affecting your ability to maintain or keep power up to the homes and businesses. A technician may lose access at the wrong moment when they're trying to do maintenance to equipment. So that changes the design priorities because we're talking about a much different focus on uptime here than we are in the office space. The other thing is office or industrial networks, we've talked about this a little bit before, have to handle really harsh conditions that most of the office gear will never see. So for example, massive temperature swings. We talked about, roadside cabinets in July in Texas. It's hot, right? Think about wintertime. It's going to be extremely cold. If we put one of these in the roadside cabinet in Minnesota in the wintertime, it's going to be very cold. There's dust that we have to contend with. There's electrical noise in these environments. There's shock, there's vibration, there's small form factor spaces, which we'll talk about in another future session. And the locations are typically away from traditional IT support. So they're not easy to get to. And we can't just send a technician out to solve a problem every time something goes bump in the night. So they also can connect a totally different set of assets. They're not just laptops and printers here, but we're talking about PLCs, we're talking about HMIs, drives, relays, sensors, and controllers. Now, some of those assets, the other problem or nuance about the industrial environment is those assets are going to stay in service for 10, 15, or even 20 years. So when you think about these devices, they're also using specialized industrial protocols that the equipment needs to be able to interpret and see. So when we think about that overall, this device is, we're talking about uptime. I can't just go out and patch or reboot whenever I need to, whenever it's convenient, because it is a orchestrated event to make that happen. So operations and security have to be different too. So in the office or in the IT space, let's talk about the assumption that let's patch fast, let's scan often, and let's standardize broadly. And the OT, that's a totally different question. They start asking questions about how do we improve security without disrupting production? Totally different operating model when we talk about this environment. And that is why industrial networks need to be designed with uptime, resilience, and operational continuity in mind. Now, this is where Cisco also fits very well. Industrial Ethernet switches and industrial routers help extend that networking into those OT environments where enterprise assumptions do not hold up. So the goal is not to treat the plant floor like a branch office, because it's not. It is to support operations in the places where operations actually happen. So if you remember one thing from the episode here today, remember this. Office networks are built for comfort and convenience, where industrial networks are built for consequence. And that difference changes everything when we start thinking about the industrial architecture. As always, remember our tagline here: see it, secure it, segment it, and scale it. Thanks for listening today. And the next episode, episode 5, we're going to talk about the plant floor to cloud journey. And we'll define what cloud means in that aspect and what that tradition, what that pathway looks like to get there. So thanks for joining today. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.